And it's very likely that you will subscribe to the devil's solution to those matters if you have not yet come to a point where you say, it is only God that will solve my problem. Are you with me? He sees that you had options, but you decided to stay with him. It means that you wanted to do business with him. He's excited. The next thing he will test you with is when you start praying, he won't answer first, to see whether you could get discouraged and then change the plan. You know he's in charge. He decides when he sets out. He decides what he does. You may cry will not move him. And then when you stay there as if there's no answer, will you consider another option, another alternative? If you say no for me, even if he slays me, yet I will seek him. So he knows that, okay, you don't have any other God to turn to. It's only him that you have. All right. Once that is guaranteed, he will show you a sign. This is how God operates with his people. Sometimes in order to answer your prayer, what you will do is just say, take 200,000 to this person. Now you're not asking, I'm asking you for this. You don't know that obedience is a proof that he is your God. He just wants a manifestation of faith from your life that proves that he is actually your God. He can control you. He can tell you what to do. You are not the one in charge. Take 200,000, give that sister, and then things will take. Sometimes the trigger that will open the answers to your prayer is a simple obedience that God will require. Meanwhile, when I begin to pray, normally, this is my own experience, God will say, go and give somebody this vehicle. And you know what? When God begins to respond, he will give me that same vehicle but a better model that same year. This is the dealing of God on my life. He came to me last year. He said, give this Benz out. Told me who to give the Benz out to. I told my wife. We said, okay, we can't give it out like this. We repaired it. Give it out. Before last year ended, somebody had a Benz in his house, and the person, that one is better than the one that we gave out. The person said, it seems you people need this vehicle. And then God will now give us the same kind of vehicle. If we give out Mercedes-Benz, he will give us Mercedes-Benz, so that we will know that it is because of that first one doing this one. Meanwhile, he wants to answer prayer. He will now, this year he has come again. We were praying. He said, this is your white vehicle. Go and give it. That's how it is with me. I don't know how it is with you. The all-sufficient God, he will give you an instruction. I've already obeyed. I've fixed the vehicle. And then when the person that God said we should give comes, we'll give the person. And all of that was in response to a prayer that we prayed. He now said, do like this. Now, let your ears be open. God has many ways of answering prayer. For me, if he wants to answer a great prayer, he will say, go and give something. 6 months later, he will answer that thing I requested for and more 6 months later. So this year, any year that God doesn't say, go and give this thing, I'm afraid, because that's not how he has dealt with me. The way he deals with me is that when I'm praying deep prayer, you say, rise up, take this. I was at home on Christmas. They say, rise up. I said, yes, sir. Move. And he didn't tell me where I was going. I was driving. He said, go like that. Enter here. I was now asking, why am I in this service today? He said, wait. Then the preacher was preaching. He said, the next alert that comes to your phone, give that preacher. That's why I attended that service. So I went to the preacher. I said, can I have your account number? He gave me the ministry account. I said, this is very good, but what I'm looking for is your account number. Then when he gave me, he was afraid to even pray for me, but that's not my business. I came for what? The moment I got home, I saw the alert. If I begin to pray, meal, and God doesn't say, take this, give it, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. After I've given that thing, if you like, go to Ikboba Hill and carry the head of 7 virgins and say, as you are lifting it, what will strike you, you will not know the name. May God open your eyes to know that you are insufficient. Your insufficiency becomes the motivation behind your prayer life. Prayer opens you up to God. The response to prayer can be an instruction. The response to prayer can be an information. God gives you an information that you didn't have before. Maybe the reason why people are in bondage in your family. It shows you. There is always a supernatural response that God gives to prayer. You might be battling a thing. God will just say, stand up in the morning. Take this. Go here and give it. That giving, that obedience becomes the trigger that will release God. I was praying and fasting on my birthday, and God said, go and take this amount. Go to that preacher. Give it. When he told me that, then somebody called me and said, that same preacher, he wants to buy something, and it's remaining so amount. I sent my own. The preacher bought that. But God told me first. Before I even heard that there was a need, I sent it there. The kind of things God has said I should give from my birthday to today is much. Is much. That's how I know that a year is powerful. When God begins to say, go to this place. Some of the people he say I should sow to, some of them are my children spiritually. You know, some people, I don't know where they got that law that you don't give. No, you see, God is the father of us all. Some of them, he said, go and meet them. Give them this. Do that. Do like this. His prayer, that thing I'm doing is his prayer. The prayer I prayed with my mouth, and then there's a prayer I'm praying with my giving. Then when I finish doing all those things, then he will stop instructing me. I am powerful. You can't destroy me. Because I have obeyed the Lord. Now, we must understand how the answers to prayer comes in your life. For me, most often, it comes in a directive to give. How does it come to you? You will not have any motivation to continue in the place of prayer until you know that you are inadequate. When I obey him, then he begins to walk. 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 The way doors open, you begin to wonder, how did this door open? This door open. Before I came here, somebody called me from another country. What happened? He said he had been hearing my message in the morning. One called me and said he couldn't sleep all night. I said, I'm ready to bind the demon. He said, it's not a demon, it's your message. What? Hallelujah. God can go to South Africa and make somebody not to sleep so that the person can meet your need. I've seen that before. Nations wake somebody up. He said, I could not sleep. I could not sleep. I was hearing your name. At least today, as of today, I've heard 3 people that my name came to them in their dream. One lady from Zimbabwe, she says she was sleeping, and an old man came and told her, go and look for Arome Osayi. Look for him. She woke up. The name was clear. She wrote it down, went on the internet, Googled, and thank God our brethren are doing a great work, putting our things online. She saw one of my tapes, she clicked it, and she entered into tears. Seriously. Another guy, the guy I just finished talking with now, how did he know me? It was in a dream too. Somebody came and, hey, why is it that your own name is forgotten? Nobody knows it. Even when you take the name and go on air, on channel, say, I am here! Nobody watched that night. What happened? Your infirmities have covered you. There is nothing that God cannot do, but you need to empty yourself before He will fill you up. Now, I'm going to stop here today because there's a practical session to everything that we are teaching. All right, so the practical will run for 30 minutes. Tomorrow I'll continue in the teaching. Tomorrow is a deeper aspect. These are basics. You will see when God will come and say, that's your son Isaac. Bring him. At the end of the day, you discover it was not his son he was looking for. He was looking for something else. Are you ready to walk with God? That's the question. Are you really ready to walk with Him? Or you just want to play games around? Walking with God will cost you. It will cost you something. If anybody made you think that walking with God was, there are several times you are going to cry because you are walking with God. And after crying, you will not be comforted. He will leave you in that state. Yes. And the reason why you are in that state is because you are walking with Him. He said you should do something. And that thing is dead, is killing you. He has to kill you first before He will make you alive. And you need to be told what to expect on the path of walking with God.